morning, everybody. It is about 6:15, and we're driving to our hunting spot. It's only about 10 minutes away. This is my second hunt for deer anyway out to this place, and we're going to try to do it a little bit like last time, except this is in the morning. And instead of just trying to spot and stalk, we're going to sneak up in, hopefully before sunrise here. You can see the moon is still out and bright, but we're going to try to sneak in before sunrise, get a spot set up, and maybe do an ambush. I am hunting for 3 different species this morning. I realized after my last hunt that Tennessee also has a fall turkey season. And guys, forgive me, I'm not from here. I've been here for several years, but I've never hunted turkey. Never in my life hunted turkey. But we're going to try to change that this fall. During the fall archery season, there is also a fall turkey season. And you are allowed to take 1 bearded turkey per county. So we're going to try to do that. A turkey or a deer, whichever crosses my path first, that's what I'm gonna get. I mentioned I'm hunting 3 species. I also have an arrow in my quiver ready to go for squirrel. So if I have a squirrel walk out in bow range, sitting on the ground, yeah, I'm gonna take a shot at it and see if we can get that on camera. I'm gonna try to self-film this morning. Don't know how that's gonna work. Never tried to self-film and bow hunt before, so that's going to be interesting. I made a heck of a racket getting in here this morning. I'll be surprised if there's any deer or turkeys within a mile. But I've got a spot picked out to set up. It's about 30 minutes till sunrise. I'm just going to wait here and be as quiet and still as I possibly can and see if something stumbles across my path. I am probably not quite to the spot that I was aiming for, but I should have dropped a pin on onyx or something. Squirrel. Couldn't quite get the shot off in time. About 15 yards away, probably could have done it. So I didn't see anything that morning. Not a single deer, not a single turkey. And of course, I forgot my diaphragm call at home, so I'm sure that didn't help. I decided as soon as I got out of the woods that I should run to Walmart and check to see if they had a climbing stand so I could get into a spot that I've been seeing some deer on the trail camera. Walmart didn't have anything, so I drove about an hour to my nearest academy and picked up a climbing stand for about $100, and it actually seems to be working out pretty well. We'll talk about that climbing stand a little bit more probably later in the season. So the next footage you'll see is later that night after I got the climbing stand hung. All right, everybody. First time in a climber stand.
I went out and bought a $99 climber tree stand just to try it out. I'm not sure how it's going to work. It's kind of heavy, like 33 pounds. Not too complicated, just a lot of straps, I guess, as with anything. Did one practice setup on it yesterday in my yard, and took my time today getting up into this tree. I may be just a little bit later than I should be, but it took me about 30 minutes to get everything set up just the way I wanted it. Like I said, I'm taking my time, doing everything super slow. I am wearing a harness. I've never worn a tree stand harness before, but my first deer that I shot with a bow, I shot out of a tree stand, and it was a 2-man ladder stand, completely different setup than what I've got going on today. And I haven't killed a deer out of a tree stand since, but this is the area where I've been seeing a lot of does move through. Saw one little spike buck on the trail camera. We are sitting not too far, probably 10 yards from where that trail camera was. The deer have been showing up between sometimes early around noon, but they've been showing up around, for the most part, between 5 p.m. and sunset. And then, a few at 1 a.m. or whatever too, but my goal is to get a doe on the ground. The spot we're sitting in is right next to a CRP grass field. Down here, can't see it through the trees, and a cornfield right over there. That, until this morning, had corn in it. They harvested it, so I saw the combine and the grain cart come out of the field about 10 o'clock this morning. So I'm hoping having that field harvested doesn't change their pattern too much, but I'm guessing it will. Figured I would give this stand a try anyway. We're about 20 feet up off the ground. You can see right down through here. Well, you can't see through the camera, but there are all kinds of trails that zigzag through right here, and I've got several clear windows through the understory. Right in front of me, there's a little bit of a slope, probably 12 feet in elevation, I would guess, maybe 15, which is why I wanted to be a little bit higher in the stand, because they may come right down through here, and possibly through here. If they do, I'm just going to have to wait until they get out of there and more over into here or towards the field to get a shot. It's about 4:15 now. Probably got 45 minutes to, an hour, 2 hours before they start coming out. Chances are I'm not going to be able to get the shot on video because I don't have anything to attach my camera to a tree with yet. I may be able to rig up now. There's no way I can tilt down. Well, y'all, it is the next day, and as you can tell, I did not get any more footage. So, let me tell you about what happened and why this guy is hanging behind me. So, 2 bucks came in. I did not hear them as soon as I would have liked to. There was a spike, but a super tall spike, like probably 9-inch spikes on either side. Kind of a weird looking deer, but perfectly healthy body. None of the deer I saw last night I had even a thought that they've had CWD. So right behind him there was a decent sized 6-point. So they came in. Trouble is, I had the thermocell on my lap, and in that climbing stand there's really nowhere to put it. So I fumbled around for a second. I super quietly reached over and clipped it on one of my side straps. And by the time I stood up, they were like 5 yards away from the base of my tree, right under my stand.
And that stand it's good, it works for the purpose, but it is not the quietest. So it creaked a little bit. They blew, ran off just a little bit. One deer ended up stopping right at about 30 yards. I was at full draw for probably a full minute, and then he stepped out from behind a tree, and I released the arrow. It was a perfect shot. There was nothing wrong with the shot whatsoever, but the deer jumped the string. He ducked. I saw my arrow fly right over the top. I went and found the arrow later, and not a single drop of blood on it. That deer was fine. Not hit at all. So those 2 deer were gone, ran off. So I thought, okay, no big deal. I haven't made a bunch of noise. The night's still young. So I continued to sit there and just wait, and then just before dark, I heard some deer coming through the woods. And again, I didn't hear them quick enough. I didn't have anything in my lap this time. I actually had my bow in my hand with my finger around the arrow to keep it from falling off the rest. So I stood up super slow, but again, they must have saw me or something, because one doe was already past my stand, had walked all the way under me by the time I started to stand up, and they didn't notice. Should I have waited for them all to pass? Yes, probably. But I wasn't thinking that at the time. So, deer went under me. What I thought were all does, and we'll get to that in a second. And I stood up. They kind of scattered. Then they stopped. And kind of ran in different directions, but none of them more than 30, 40 yards away. So then this deer snuck back in to try to figure out what it was, because I hadn't made a whole lot of noise or anything. I had been pretty quiet about the whole thing. So this deer snuck right back under. I thought sure this thing was a doe, and you can see it is not. I actually have pictures of this guy on my trail camera. Maybe I'll put one of them up here. But a little spike buck, probably 6 inches. He's probably a year and a half old at this point. Decent sized deer, just a little bigger than that last doe that I shot. But anyway, he came in and he looked at me, but he was 10 yards away. There was no way he was going to jump the string. So I put my 10-yard pin right on his shoulder. And this is something I'm going to ask you guys about a second. I don't know how well you guys can see that. There's the entrance hole right at the base of his neck. And the arrow crossed, clipped the side of the heart. The heart had a big slit in it from the broadhead. And I heard him start crashing right away. So he was super easy to find. I just went right up to him and found him after I got down out of the tree. Anyway, yeah. What do you guys think of shot placement, close range archery whitetail deer? Now, maybe it's that I'm in Tennessee and the deer here are quite a bit smaller than further up north, say in the Midwest. But the last couple of deer I've shot, I've blown through the front shoulder with no issue. That's probably not the shot placement I would have taken. Except I can't think of anything more to say than that instinct kicked in. And I did just like I would for a rifle shot, and I aimed for the opposite shoulder and squeezed the trigger, which is exactly what I did. And this deer, he was dead within 20 seconds of the time the arrow hit him, no question. So anyway, if you guys have any comments about whether that is acceptable practice for archery deer hunting, I would like to hear. And again, maybe it is different in areas where the deer are smaller, and maybe in younger deer like this too. I don't know. So anyway, that is deer hunt number 2 for the year. 2 deer down, less than a week into the season, and I am super happy about it. But yeah, I've got 2 good deer to put in the freezer. The one is already processed up and in the freezer from the last time. In fact, I
have already eaten a little bit of a chunk of it. It was real good.
One thing I'll mention here before we go is my grinder is down. On the last deer that I was processing, the auger on my grinder bound up and absolutely killed the motor. The whole thing is toast. So there's one that I can probably borrow for this next deer, but I'm going to be searching. In fact, as soon as I'm done filming this video, I'm going to go back inside and hop online and see if I can find another grinder for this deer and all the ones to follow. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy hunting videos, reloading videos, anything like that, please subscribe to my channel. And y'all have a good one. Thanks again.